Men are experiencing what it's like to be a woman, and they can't stand it. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. For decades, women have been judged on the way that they look, what they bring to the table, and how they can serve the man. Now that women have access to their own funds, their own housing, their own jobs, it is a different ballgame for these men.
I've been talking about this for a couple of years now, but more and more research is coming through that is confirming the fact that men are in crisis. And
They say men are in crisis, but no one talks about who created that crisis. Here, you'll hear speeches that humiliate men, blame them, and then act shocked when men walk away from relationships. It's not hate, it's not fear, it's exhaustion. And what you're about to hear will make a lot of people uncomfortable.
Men are experiencing what it's like to be a woman, and they can't stand it. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. For decades, women have been judged on the way that they look, what they bring to the table, and how they can serve the man. Now that women have access to their own funds, their own housing, their own jobs, it is a different ballgame for these men, and they don't like it. We are finally asking, what do you bring to the table? Because I already have everything I need. Basically, we're judging them on their looks, their finances, and what they bring to the table. So we're flipping the script. And this has brought a resurgence in men whining and being like, I can't find anyone. Male loneliness epidemic. We're doing the same thing you've been doing to us since the beginning of time. You don't like it, do you? Whenever I hear a man, especially on this app, complaining how women are too hard, their standards are too high, that they're gonna die alone, I just laugh because it's like, you guys have been doing that to us forever. And we are finally standing up and saying, what do you actually bring to the table? Because I know already I'm going to cook for you, I'm going to clean for you, I'm going to wipe your booty for you. Okay, so what are you going to do for me in return? If you're not upgrading my life, on to the next one. A woman has inherent value to a man. A man is more valuable objectively when there is a good-looking woman by his side, when there is a woman by his side of higher social stature than him. It's just a fact. Men will look at that man and immediately he holds more value. So women have come to the front and be like, I know what value I hold. It's inherent. What are you giving me? And these men don't like it. They don't like it at all. Keep doing it though. I love you.
She sells the idea that we flip the script but ignores the damage that comes with it. When relationships turn into cold negotiations, prove your value or I'm out, the average man simply leaves the game. It's not fear of high standards, it's burnout from being treated like a disposable product. Men were always expected to deliver, but there used to be reciprocity, respect, and balance. Now it's demands, comparisons, and contempt disguised as empowerment. When a man realizes he'll never be enough and that affection is conditional on upgrading, he chooses solitude, not out of weakness, but self-preservation.
What do you think of the male loneliness epidemic? I'll tell you, here's the thing. If the men were hard workers and they were willing to put themselves together in a way that was attractive, then they wouldn't be lonely. Don't you see? It's more, they should call it the male apathy era. That's the real issue. That's the real issue. It's that they just straight up don't want to work. They don't want to work on themselves. They don't have fun or interesting hobbies. And then they're worried. They're wondering like, how come no woman wants me? Well, because why would they? The fuck? Do you see what I'm saying? You don't even have to be that good looking as a man. You could just have money in the bank. And then you'll be so attractive. You'll be so tall. You'll be so handsome. You'll have the bluest eyes. Whatever. All right? If you got money in the bank, that's it. It's just, it's if you're only ugly as a man if you're broke. Don't you get it? Don't you see that? All right? So if you just worked on yourself such that you can make money in this world, women will find you attractive. And they ought to. And that's only fair, don't you think? So you are only lonely because you can't make enough money. That's it. All right? If you could make money, you could afford better clothes, you can afford a fucking hairstylist, you can afford a skincare routine. My God, you can afford to have a little bit of a hobby here and there that makes you interesting or useful in any fucking way. All right? It's just they don't want to do anything. They're useless as all get out, and they have financial troubles constantly, and they're relying on their parents for income, and then they wonder why women don't want them. What a mystery. I don't even need Scooby-Doo to see that. That's fucking obvious. Of course you're lonely. You're not reliable. The fuck?
Men are dying to suicide 4 more times more than women. Just let that sink in, okay? It's a knife through your chest. Total estimate, true male suicide, 62,700 a year. That is not a number. That is a scream for help, ripping from a throat that nobody ever taught to speak. That is your brother, your father, your best friend, gutted by silence. He wanted to live, but the world carved him hollow and called it being a man. There's over 1,000+ shelters for women. Less than 1% even whisper men are welcome here. Hotlines, all for women, 0 for men. Counseling, hundreds for women, none for men. Where the hell are we? Men built the world on their backs, fought wars, bled out in the trenches, carried the provide, protect, shut up until their heads exploded. And we women failed them. We are the healers, the holders, the ones who see the cracks before they shatter. But we looked away. We said, he's fine. He's strong enough. He doesn't need us. He did. He needed us to see, to reach, to fight for his breath the way he fought for ours. Men, hear me. Your pain is not a burden. Your tears are not defeat. Scream, crumble, break, find your brother and cry on his shoulder, whatever you have to do. If the darkness is swallowing you, call, text, I need help, bang on his door at 4 a.m., sob in the driveway, do anything, but don't die alone. Women, this is our war too. We cannot bloom in a graveyard. We cannot raise boys to be tough and then bury them. Rise the up, demand the shelters, fund the hotlines, scream his pain from the rooftops until the world finally bleeds with us. Every man who dies in silence is a knife in our chest. This has to end now. The world doesn't need fewer men. It needs men alive, raw, raging, reborn, and confident. So pick up the phone, reach out to him, and save him. Save us as a whole. Do it now.
Here, she gets the pain right, but pretends it came out of nowhere. Men were taught to endure everything in silence while losing space, respect, and purpose. At the same time, whenever men try to speak up, they're mocked, labeled weak, or accused of toxic fragility. The result is silence, isolation, and despair. Many men don't avoid relationships because they hate women, but because they feel invisible, replaceable, and constantly accused. When a man learns he'll only be heard once he breaks, he stops emotionally investing altogether.
I've been talking about this for a couple of years now, but more and more research is coming through that is confirming the fact that men are in crisis. And, I'm not saying this in a way to guilt you into feeling sorry for them. It's just a fact. And it's something that they need to understand as well. Like, the first step is acceptance. The world has changed. The world that they thought that they were getting and were promised is not turning out like that for them anymore. If this man is saying that the reason why men hate women is because of our high standards, okay? If I'd had the high standards that I should have had, I never would have gone on a date with a coal miner who jerked off and left a condom on my porch for me to find. I wouldn't have gone on a date with a guy who coerced me until I ran away into the dark, and a week later I saw him at the airport with his wife. I wouldn't have dated a guy for 18 months who refused to label us and who didn't believe in emotional availability. I could go on, but I don't want to. I'm Dr. Zoe and I want to analyze it. Firstly, let's look at high standards as a concept. Women today are pretty empowered, we're pretty educated, and we're pretty financially secure on our own. So the idea that we also expect this from a partner is not high standard. It's a normal, regular standard that you should want from your partner, equality and respect. See a lot of podcast bros and that weirdly blonde man on here talking about how, how they always say, like, I like a woman who will take care of herself. She needs to work out, i.e., they're the ones who want women as accessories so that they'll look better. I totally get it, because it is threatening when women no longer want to settle for less than what they're worth, which is what they have done for a long time. They've benefited from that for a really long time, and now they're not. So yeah, I get that that's scary. Men will have you think that their big crisis is about how women now are asking too much of men. Where are all the good women? Drizzle, drizzle, blah, blah, blah. Where are the women who aren't gold diggers? Blah, blah, blah. Where are the traditional women? The real crisis is not about women. It's about how men are reacting to these shifting roles and perspectives about gender roles. Women are thriving with or without them, but mainly without them. Women know how to lead fulfilling lives without men. Men have been fed by the patriarchy the idea that their role is to be the protector, and women are saying we don't need a protector anymore. We know how to be independent. In fact, women are taught how to be independent so much better than men, because women are taught that they're going to need to look after a man. So they're taught things like how to get things done, how to cook, how to clean, how to multitask. Men are told that they're going to have a woman to do all that for them. So then when they actually end up having to do it, they can't and lead more unhealthy and unhappy lives without women. Whereas women go on to do all of those things, but less, because they don't have to look after a man as well. Men are having to evaluate their purpose in life, if not to protect a woman. And this can be really difficult for them to do. Then they blame women instead of looking inside themselves and unpacking stuff. They turn that outward onto women as anger, which is unfair and unjust. People threatened by this tend to equate independence with rejection. They don't realize that women being independent from men doesn't mean that women hate them. It actually just means that women are independent and don't need. It means women want to renegotiate the terms of our relationships with men, and men need to also be able to come to the table on that renegotiation. We're patient because we've been taught that we mature faster than men and that we're more emotionally mature than men, so we are patient with that, but we're not that patient, because men are being very slow to pick this up. In other words, it's much easier to just say, oh, women hate us, than to actually look at the ingrained social conditioning that you have been given and unpack that. Men are being challenged to redefine masculinity in a way that complements gender equality, and the ones who can do that are the ones who will survive and thrive. And are so scared that we're all going to go and do the 4B movement and withhold children, withhold marriage, withhold dating, withhold sex from them, that they've gone and started their own counter movement, doing the same thing in proportion, without realizing that that won't work, because women have found our power, and our power can be withheld from them. Something that they want can be withheld from them, because society is not set up in a way anymore where we need them. The thing is, many of us still want them, but on our terms. We're not prepared to settle for domestic servitude or an abusive or controlling relationship anymore. So it's very much got to be on our terms, because we do deserve equality within a relationship, and we do deserve to live happy, healthy lives as best as we possibly can within a relationship or without one. So yeah, that's why the men are in crisis.
She sounds reasonable, but ultimately reduces the male crisis to, you just need to adapt. Adaptation without recognition becomes submission. Men don't want to dominate or be discarded. They want to be needed. When they're told they're no longer necessary, that everything works fine without them, the message is clear. Your presence is optional, and no one gives their heart where they're optional. Many men aren't running from women. They're running from relationships where they're merely tolerated, not desired. Without purpose, respect, or admiration, men walk away. Simple as that.